time for illegal ham in the face. But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys, Fatty, and Big Bry.
But Dad, isn't it time for illegal ham in the face? But bro, where's the banjo?
And Fatty fail. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into another episode of Illegal Ham to the Face. I am that fat guy, Jared Fatty Bates. Big Bry will be here with me soon. We have had some sicknesses in our houses. He's taking care of Miss Maddie as we speak. He'll hop in here in a little bit, but we got a great show for you tonight. We are going to be talking some Cavs streaking. We are going to be talking about the Cleveland Browns and the Myles Garrett press conference that just happened and what to do at number 2. Justin, yep, definitely a fatty fail. We are also going to talk a little bit of Guardians because baseball is right around the corner, especially with the game today in Tokyo. Baseball season has started. And then we are also, for Fat Boy Tuesday, we are going to get into our St. Patrick's Day, what we think about St. Patrick's Day, and also fad diets. And if Brian and I could actually get a hold of them. And then finally, we will finish it up with our top 3 Cavs after the core 4. So whether it's the Cavs that need to step up or our favorite players after the core 4. So after Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Allen, where do we have the 3 after that? So welcome on in. Please go give us a like and subscribe on all of our socials at Ham Illegal. We are also part of Network 216. So please go give that a like and subscribe also. Coming up here, we will be having, let's see here. We got draft coming up. We've got baseball opening day coming up, which was announced today that the Cleveland Guardians for the 32nd year in a row have sold out the home opener, which is awesome. They have got some great ticket deals going on right now, which I will, what is it, $54 for the month for standing room only for any home game. You really can't beat that. So if you want to go down, check out the ballpark, have a good time downtown, that's time to do it. $54, standing room only. Go in, stand and watch the game, and you get the whole month. Tickets for the whole month. So please go do that. Our show is brought to you by, there we go. Jay reposted. Thank you, Always Positive Jay, who is our friend. He's got a huge announcement coming up tomorrow. So tune into the Voice of Land for that. Our show is brought to you by Harold Keel and Lake Erie Pay. Sorry, got off track. Also, it is brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. Now, we always do trivia. I do have a trivia tonight for Bry when he gets in here. Trivia is brought to you by City Dogs. They have their 5K coming up here in June. Also, Enya was the last dog we had. And I'll show you some pictures here of her with this beautiful face. She was adopted. So please, if you can help out City Dogs Cleveland and get beautiful faces like this adopted, do so right now. I do know that Beth has reached out to me, and she said now the longest resident for the kennel right now's name is Sassafras, and they have a picture of her up. She was at the Cleveland Monsters game, Puck for Paws. So if you can go help out a City Dog, please do so. And like I said, if you can't adopt, please volunteer, donate, whatever you can do to help out a City Dog from City Dogs Cleveland. Beautiful faces, beautiful pup. Look at that. She's even got her own sweater on. Can't go wrong with that right there. Okay. All right. So welcome back. We will get into show and everything else. I do have some shout outs that we always do at the beginning of the show. I got to shout out my cousin Brent, who just had a birthday. Also got to shout out one of my friends, Joe. His birthday is coming up here at the end of the week. Actually, I think it is 2 days from now. So Thursday. Happy birthday to him. And then, I got another March and April are huge in my family for birthdays. We're just kind of scattered everywhere. So just shout out to them. I see. It's all dark right now, but he might be coming in. Of course, he's wearing his garb. Congratulations on that, Bri. There he is. He is here. What's going on, big fella?
Hey, what's happening?
Nothing. Look at you all decked out in your Michigan garb for the 5 seed that you got.
The Big Ten champions are you talking about? Yeah, how does that happen? They get a 5 seed. They beat Purdue, which got a 4 seed. They beat Maryland, that got a 4 seed, and they beat Wisconsin, that got a 3 seed. So the 3 teams they beat all got better seeds than them. So how irrelevant are these conference tournaments?
Let's see here. Justin said he just threw up in his mouth. Understand.
I understand, Justin. Hey, you're upset that I got a school to root for after January. That's fine.
No, what do you mean? Ohio State football played in January.
I said after January.
I know. They played gotcha. Hey, I can't say anything. Our team sucks. How the hell did that happen?
Hey, they got lacrosse or something, don't they? At Ohio State?
The men's
track and
volleyball,
field?
Something. We'll figure it out later.
There you go.
Still in that national championship glow, though. Brian, I do have to ask you.
I get it.
Show started. Once you got any shout outs, buddy?
Oh, no. I think other than what we already got into, I think I'm shout out free this week.
Okay, so we are getting in. It is March Madness, and I put as the caption for our show tonight, "Let the madness begin," because madness is crazy season for right now with free agency for the NFL. You got baseball coming up. You got the home stretch for the NBA, and also you got March Madness. Bri, what are your thoughts about 14 teams from the SEC getting into the tournament?
I think it was inevitable. As we're moving closer and closer every year to a 2-team conference or 2 conference league. It's going to be all Big Ten. It's going to be all SEC from this point forward, and then we'll sprinkle in some of these small schools and small conference winners. But that's kind of how it's always been. It's just, now Texas and Oklahoma, and I don't even know Iowa State. Where the heck are they from? But yeah, these bigger schools are all going to the Big Ten and the SEC. So it shouldn't be a shock to anybody that they're getting 12, 13, 14 teams in. It's unfortunate, Mid-American Conference gets 1 team a year in, no matter how good you are in the regular season.
Yeah, that's kind of sad right there, especially with a lot of teams were kind of upset that certain teams like North Carolina got into the dance and they were out. Like, I don't know, West by God, Virginia is quite upset with that.
It's all about money.
I know.
The Blue Bloods, they're going to find a way. And I mean, it's how it is with football. It's how it is with basketball. The big schools, the powerhouses, the national brands are going to get the benefit of the doubt every single time.
Yeah, well, we'll talk a little more March Madness here coming up. Bri, I had special news that you didn't hear. Enya, our dog that had the heart disease and everything else, Beth reached out. She did get adopted. We do have a new pup,
Great.
Sassafras, who was at, I don't have the picture of her right now, but I will put it up. She was at Pup for Paws. She is the longest resident now at the kennel. And Bri,
okay,
it's my turn for trivia tonight. And It's all about streaks, buddy. You excited?
Sure.
All right.
Going streaking.
Let's do trivia. My God, I can't find anything tonight, Bri. I already had a fatty fail right out of the gate. Forgot shit.
Uh-oh.
right, Brian, we are going streaking, and Brian, we are going to go NBA streaking. So far this year, your Cleveland Cavaliers have 2 win streaks of 15 games or more. We had a game of 15 and then 16 that just got shattered. Bri, what is the longest losing streak that the Cavs have had?
Oh, boy. I think I might know this. Okay.
So all those
You got an
LeBron
answer.
years, all those LeBron years that he was here and how good a team we had, Bri, they never got to 15 or 16.
Wow.
They got to 13, they got to 12, but never 15 or 16. So you got this team right here has 2 of them. 2 of them. 31 games they have streaked. It's pretty impressive, Bri.
I'd say that's probably 31 wins is probably more than at least, I was looking at the standings today, more than at least, I don't know, 5 or 6 teams in the NBA have all year.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty incredible.
And Justin chimed in with Ray Stevens. They call me the Streak. God, I don't know if you even know that song, do you?
Nope. Ray
my
Stevens. Is that a rapper?
No, that's the country guy. They call me the Streak. Boogle, boogle. Fastest man on my own 2 feet.
Is this an older song?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to check it out.
And Justin said, Bri Fail right there.
Yep. Sorry. Ray Stevens. All right. I'm writing it down.
Write it down. All right, let's get into I gave everybody the rundown for the show. We're going to talk a little Cavs, little Browns, little Guards, because baseball's starting up. Bri, let me play our it's me again, Margaret. Yeah, I forgot about that one too. So let me play our Cleveland headlines. We'll get into it. Brian, I was telling everybody at the beginning of the show that the Cleveland Guardians, for the 32nd straight year, have sold out the home opener. It's going to snow, might rain. We don't know. It's Cleveland. But 32 years of selling out the home opener. And, Brian, they came out with what I think is one heck of a deal for tickets. $54 for the month for all home games in standing room. You can't beat that, can you?
That's incredible. No, I mean, that's got to be the best deal in all of sports. Hey, you pay $54 for the worst seat in the house for one game for the Cavs or the Browns. You get a whole month. Heck
Whole
yeah.
month.
I mean, shoot, I wish I lived closer.
Yeah, the whole month, every month this summer for the Cleveland Guardians, $54 for standing room tickets. Dude, you can't. I don't think you can beat that. That's got to be gold for them, especially for people walking up, just being like, well, I'm going to spend $50 on a seat for one game anyways. Might as well just do the whole month and sit out the corner bar and just enjoy the summer.
So is that just for the month of April, or you get to pick any month?
Any month. So April,
Wow.
May, June, July, August, September, $54 for the month.
Huh. That's wild. Yeah, it would be fun to see them unveil the new stadium. Do we open at home or open on the road? Any
I
idea?
believe we open on the road. Like baseball kicked off today in Tokyo.
Yeah,
don't know
I
if
heard
you saw
that. What a joke. No, of course I didn't.
Well, it was on this morning while we were at work. So let's see here. Spring training, blah, 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 spring training. We are on the road at Kansas City the 27th. So next Thursday is the first Cleveland Guardians game. And then we were at San Diego. Then we were at LA Angels or Anaheim Angels.
Jeez.
And then we were back here.
We always seem to start on the West Coast. It's the dumbest thing ever. Like, it's never fail. We open our season with a West Coast trip. I don't know why or how. I guess we're in Kansas City for one series, but then we go quickly to 10 o'clock, 10:30 starts, and it's like, for a lot of people, they don't start paying attention to the Guardians until what's the home opener? The 8th or 9th or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. They're making it hard to be a Cleveland fan this year, and I think I heard something about we're just getting disrespected left and right. Where were we? A top 4 team last year in the playoffs, Final Four, and a lot of people think we're not even a top half of the league team this year. So we still got some things to prove. A lot of experts, whatnot, think we just had everything go our way last year. We were not necessarily a good team. We just kind of, seemed to win all these one-run games. And I don't know. I don't know if it's biased against small markets. I don't know if it's biased against we really don't have any star players other than Jose Ramirez, Clase, whatever. Hopefully it motivates them, though. Certainly we didn't see it happening last year, and Vogt got them ready to go. And I think, to me, I see a lot of similarities between Vogt and Kenny Atkinson, just how he's able to get his team to focus every game throughout a very long season, a season that's probably too long. But they, a lot of teams lose focus. A lot of teams don't care about, they just care about, let's just win enough games to make it to the playoffs, and then they just kind of coast. But I think Vogt and Atkinson, they find a way to get their players to buy in and, understand that every game is an opportunity to prove yourself. So I'm excited to see them hopefully get a little burr up their ass and get going again. Prove some haters wrong.
Well, that's what they do for Mom's in. Hi, Mom. So it's hard, Bri. It's such a long season. But that's the great thing is about the Cleveland Guardians is everybody counts them out. Like there's times that you and I are like, oh, they're going to be a 500 team. I don't think they're going to make them. Next thing you know, they're in the playoffs. It's like until they don't make the playoffs, Bri, which it's been a while since they haven't. Like they've actually been, I think it's like make the playoffs for 3 years and then not for a year and then 3 years and then not for a year. Like they've been in the playoffs and been in the hunt in it since Tito took over. So, I mean, you think about it, it's been almost 15 years of Cleveland Guardians substantial baseball trying to get into the playoffs. So until they can't, Bri, I'm not going to count them out. We'll talk more about the Guardians next week because, Cavs are kind of down at the home stretch, and we'll kind of dive in before the home opener and give our predictions. But, Bri, every time they count the Guardians out and say that, it's not going to be their year, this team's going to be this, Twins are going to be this. Nope. They just do it. They find a way to do it, and it shocks me, and especially with all the pitchers they got now, because, I mean, they went out, that's what they did with free agency. They went and got arms. Are they great arms? I don't know, but they got arms, Bri.
Guardians' formula for winning isn't particularly sexy. They're not a team that's going to mash a ton of home runs. The strength of their team is the bullpen, which I think is probably maybe the boringest thing to have for a contender to be your strength and to be the best in the league at is a bullpen. Not even, we have Clase, and I think he's starting to become more of a household name. But, a lot of times it's guys you might see for one inning, maybe an inning and a half or something like that, and then they just go away and, they just handle their business. So fine with me. All I care about is winning. All they probably care about is winning. So, they can sleep on us all year long for all I care.
Hey, I'm with you 100%. And Bryce, speaking of winning, our 16-game win streak got broken by the Cavs. Evan Mobley was out, but Bry, it's bound to happen at some point in time. You can't win them all, but 16 in a row. A handful of those games were without Mitchell and Hunter because they were both out. This past game against Orlando, Mobley was out. I just need this team to stay healthy until the playoffs. And a lot of people are wanting them to try to go for, dare I say, 70 wins. That means they would have to go on a streak again, Brian, because I believe they're like 58 and 11. So they would have to go on a streak again. Brian, I don't want them to get to 70 wins. I don't care about 70 wins. I just want a completely healthy team going into the playoffs. And whatever you have to do to get that, do it. If you got to do some load management, do some load management. I need our core four healthy when it comes to playoff time, because I think that's what's going to show up and show out during the playoffs. Brad, how do you feel about that? And do you think, if they want to, do you think they could actually hit 70 wins?
I was kind of looking at the remaining schedule earlier today, and yeah, I think they can hit 70 wins. I mean, we play the Pacers twice in April. We play the Knicks twice in April. But other than that, like, we got a West Coast swing coming this week, and the Clippers, probably the best team we play there. We play them a couple times at home and home, and then the Suns are just a disaster, and we play the Jazz, which are maybe the worst team in the league. So, yeah, looking at our Trailblazers, at the remaining schedule, they could win 70 if they really wanted to. Now, we saw with the game on Sunday against the Magic, you can play a great game. You can play neck and neck with the team, and then, it comes down to a couple possessions at the end of the game. They hit a shot, you miss a shot, and you lose the game. So, it's just so hard to do that and to count on all the end of the game scenarios going your way. So, if they don't win 70, I won't be too upset. It would be cool. I'm not going to lie. It would be cool to be, the third team in NBA history to win 70 games. That also puts, if the target wasn't big enough on your back, that puts a giant target on your back, and, maybe a little added pressure to your playoff run. So, to me, if they 66 wins is maybe more attainable to set the franchise single season record. I think that would be something that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's all about the playoffs now. Like I said, time and time again, they've proven everything they can prove to me in the regular season, which I'm very impressed. I was a doubter. I was, questioning this two bigs and two small guards for some time now, and haven't really bought into it. And I think they're really proving me wrong. And I think it's been a team effort. It's been Ty Jerome. Who saw that coming? At the beginning of the season, nobody thought we would be able to trade for DeAndre Hunter. And just these pieces coming together that really are making us a whole team rather than just a big four. And so, Evan Mobley taking a step up, Darius Garland getting back to the Darius Garland that we've known and we've hoped that he can be, and kind of takes the burden off of Donovan Mitchell. So, incredibly impressed by them. I hope they can get to 67 wins. 70 might be a bit tough, but you never know. At the end of the year, the teams that are in it might just coast and say, hey, as long as we stay out of the play-in tournament, we're good. Let's start looking to the playoffs and try to get healthy. And then there's going to be a handful of teams that are just, like, I think we played the Spurs a couple times. They're certainly looking to maybe add somebody to Wembanyama in the lottery, and so they don't really care a whole lot about winning right now. There's just a handful of teams that are already looking towards next year, so they're not too concerned about winning this year. So I think you can pick up some easy wins that way.
Yeah, and Brian, I didn't tell you what our top three was tonight. We really didn't talk about it. So our just a heads up, because I said at the beginning. So our top three tonight, Brian, is after the core four. After the core four, who are your top three after the core four?
Meaning best players or importance to a playoff run?
Importance to a playoff run.
Gotcha. Okay. I can do that.
All right. Brian, we'll see what happens. They're going on tonight. What is it? Tonight at 10:30 they play against the Clippers. Ugh. I hate West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I miss the 7:00 games like you wouldn't believe, Brian. At least you can give me the updates as we're going. All right, Brian. Now we do have to rip the Band-Aid off on some Brown stuff.
Sure.
First off, not only did we get baby hands Kenny Pickett, who, hey, supposedly the Browns told him he's going to get a chance to compete for the starting job. Okay, that was a fun little hear me out when he was interviewed. Also, Bri, Russell Wilson showed up in the building. Joe Flacco has showed up in the building. Kirk Cousins, we thought, hey, he was coming here. Atlanta decided to keep him and pay him. He's got to be the most highly paid backup quarterback right now. And Bri,
without a doubt.
Do you think that they're going to try to do the Brock Osweiler with Kirk Cousins?
Well, I mean, the Brock Osweiler deal, we were doing the Texans a favor by trading for Brock Osweiler. I don't think we would be trading for Kirk Cousins to do the Falcons a favor.
But we also got a second-round pick out of it because of it.
Yeah. What, do you think they're going to send us draft picks and Kirk Cousins just to take them off their hands?
Maybe to eat some of that money, Bri. I mean,
that's
a lot of money.
They're hanging on to Kirk Cousins because they're trying to get a draft pick out of us. They could have gotten rid of him and not have to pay him $10 million. So they're trying to suck every a fourth round pick. They're essentially paying $10 million for a fourth round pick is what they're doing, or they're trying to do. Now the Browns might get desperate enough where they say, okay, we're in, we'll do it. But, with their salary cap situation, they're going to have to come to some sort of agreement to where, we split the money somehow, or there's a way that we can get him on the team without taking his giant cap hit. So that's going to have to be worked out. But yeah, right now, it seems like every single week we get on here, the narrative about the Browns. Well, just the draft. Like what we do at 2 has changed. Like last week, I was ready to tell you, okay, yeah, Shedeur Sanders is out. I think we're taking Travis Hunter because they keep talking about him as wide receiver. So I think they're pumping him up to be more than just a cornerback. They're talking about him as being this great wide receiver. And now this week, the last couple of days, it's all been like, oh, yeah, the Browns have struck out a quarterback and they have no choice but to draft Shedeur Sanders. And so where we stand, where it's going to be next week, I have no idea. It's what?
It's just crazy season right now. Until the draft, it is just crazy season. And it's just, but every 4, 5, 6 hours, something changes. Something new comes out, and it's like, oh, well, like, the whole Russell Wilson. Well, Russell Wilson fits this team, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, all right, whatever. Like, people are even talking about, I heard Jason Lloyd joke around, like, if we're going to do this, might as well bring in, oh my God, Desmond Ritter. Get younger quarterbacks instead of a veteran. So let's bring in Desmond Ritter. Let's bring in Trey Lance. Let's bring in why do we need if we're truly having a competition, what's it going to hurt to bring them in? And if you release them, you look at them and go, hey, like the oh my God, not Drew Rosenhaus, Josh Rosen. You bring him in, you realize this isn't going to work, and just cut him because it's not going to hurt you any. But I mean, those are like some scenarios that you go with. I mean, people keep bringing up Carson Wentz. I mean, Brian, it is just right now, your only quarterback you have right now is Kenny Pickett. And I am not even 100% sold on them actually telling him that he's competing for the starting job. If they did, God help us, Bry. God help us. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Kenny Pickett when he came out. You know that. But God help us, Bry. Like this is silly season for us. And then also the fact that, Nick Chubb's still out there on free agency. They haven't signed Nick Chubb. I'm not saying they would. Bry, I thought they would take a bigger swing at all these wide receivers. I thought they would take a swing at a bigger name for a wide receiver to help out this young core that we got with, Judy, Tillman, all that. Haven't budged on that yet. It's just, I don't know what the Browns are doing. Like, we're just right now just standing pat going, all right, let's see what happens. And I don't know if it's because of salary cap implications, because they can only spend so much. I mean, that might have 100% to do with it. But, Bry, I mean, you're watching right now, look at Cincinnati, saying how cheap Cincinnati is. Well, guess what? They paid Joe Burrow, and now they have two of the highest paid wide receivers on their team. And what are we stuck with? A guy getting engaged down in wherever the hell it was, showing pictures off. I'm pretty sure he still didn't have a boot on at that point in time. He might have rolled his ankle again, Bry. You never know. Allegedly. We didn't see his feet. This time we didn't get pictures of his feet or him dancing. Heaven forbid that happen. Bry. It's just, we are stuck in a weird situation right now until the draft, and I don't like it because, Bry, it is too many questions and not enough answers.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the Browns are back in a desperate situation, which is not good, because the last desperate situation was when we flirted with Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield caught wind of it and he got his feelings hurt and he said, I'm not playing for Cleveland again, get me out of here. And so we didn't have Baker Mayfield and we didn't have Deshaun Watson. We were left with nobody. And we had a draft coming up where the aforementioned Kenny Pickett was the best quarterback coming out that year in the draft. So we were stuck. We were desperate. We didn't have Baker. We didn't have Deshaun. It was a terrible draft for quarterbacks. And so we went all in. We did what we had to do because we were desperate. And it scares me a little bit. I kind of see similar landscape of quarterbacks right now. And so, the easiest thing to do is to draft whoever's there between Sanders and Ward at number 2 and just draft him and come on the podium and sell us a bill of goods and tell us how great you think this guy is and we couldn't pass him up and he's going to be our quarterback for decades and we'll never know what they really feel. But yeah, I think that's where we're at right now. They're trying to talk themselves into Shedeur Sanders because nothing else is working out. I think if, Kirk Cousins was released, we would have snatched him up. If there was a better option in free agency, we would have got him. If there was maybe some guys in the mid rounds that we believed in, if it was a strong quarterback draft, maybe we could get somebody in the second round or trade up or something. No, I mean, it's a weak quarterback draft, which we've heard time and time again, and people are, maybe trying to get away from that thought and try to tell us that these guys are good again. But really, it's just we have the number 2 pick, so we're going to take the second best quarterback, and that's what scares me. It's not even about, we have our choices. We have, we can pick whatever guy we want. No, I mean, it's pretty clear you have number 1 and you have number 2 and maybe even number 3 in Jackson Dart. And then after that, then you can kind of have your choice of who do you like? What's your flavor of the month? Like right now, you're stuck. Cam Ward goes 1. If you want a quarterback, you have to take Shedeur Sanders, whether you love him or not, because he's the clear-cut number 2 quarterback in this draft. So, yeah, that scares me. We always talk about not wanting a owner to meddle in your roster decisions, but I think sometimes he does. He has to, because he has to. It's his team. Nobody's firing him. It's going to be his team for decades, his family's team for decades. You have to have like a long-term view of what the roster is going to be. Because what scares me is Stefanski and Andrew Berry. What do they really care about right now? Do they care about what's best for the Browns franchise, or do they want to survive another year? And I think if they're worried about surviving another year and saving their jobs, I think you draft Shedeur Sanders and you buy yourself some time. But what's best for the Browns franchise might be wait till next year to look for your franchise quarterback. And I know that sucks for all the players that are going to go out there and give their bodies up for a 5-month season and just try to kill themselves. It's but you can't force things. If we force something, like I've said before, if you draft a quarterback in this year's draft, you're committing to him for probably 3 years. Now, would you want that? Do you want a guy who, like we've heard time and time again, probably going to be the 6th or 7th best quarterback in last year's draft that you might have gotten in the 2nd round or maybe even the 3rd round? Or do you want to wait a year and just suck and, have your, I wouldn't say pick of the litter, because there's no guarantee you'd be a top 2 pick next year, but at least you would have a lot of options next year. And we both kind of said we would prefer to trade down and get some more draft capital so we can have the opportunity to maneuver in the draft next year when there are going to be more quarterbacks. But there's no guarantee. We could draft Shedeur Sanders. We could all hate it, and then he could go out and be great. There's several Kansas City Chiefs fans that were pissed off and throwing stuff across the room that hated when they drafted Pat Mahomes. And look at them now. They look foolish.
But the thing is, though, they had Alex Smith.
Yeah, they let him sit, for a year. I don't know if we have that opportunity. I certainly wouldn't feel good about Kenny Pickett starting game 1, even if we do get a Shedeur Sanders or a guy in the 2nd round or something like that. So we're stuck. We're desperate again, and I just hope we don't make a foolish move for the short term.
No, and buddy, I agree with you. And like you said, we don't know what's going on in those back. I would love to sit in a war room and see where they have these guys graded. Like if they have Shedeur Sanders graded where they want him and they get him, then go get him. That's fine. But there's been, I'm not saying question marks, Bry. I mean, he doesn't have the arm power. He's accurate. He's not as athletic. But the good thing about him is his football IQ, because of him and his dad, should be through the roof, especially with what he knows. He does not throw interceptions that often. It's just he's not a gunslinger. He is the prototypical, dare I say, field general. Everybody plays Madden. You have your scrambler, your improviser, all that stuff. I would probably put him as a field general. And if you have him there, if you have him at 2 and that's what you want, go get him. Because at that point in time, really doesn't matter to us. We can be upset. We can be mad. We'll see how this kind of turns out. But, Bry, if it was me personally as the GM of the Browns right now and looking at this draft and looking further down the road, I would try to set my team up for success and try to set it up further, because you have multiple holes. You still need a wide receiver, right? Defensive tackle, still questionable. Still need another end. Linebackers are now questionable because we still don't know about JOK. And your safeties are now questionable because, yes, you have some okay safeties, but you don't have like a stud safety. Like, I love Grant Delpit, but he needs somebody beside him. And we thought it was Juan Thornhill. It's not. And by the way, he signed in Pittsburgh. Good job, Juan. But, Brian, I think what I would do if I was the GM of this draft, Brian, is I would trade down. And I wouldn't trade down a lot. Like, I would still try to stay in the top 10. But I would also get a guy that I know would fill a hole, like, hey, your boy, your defensive tackle. I would love that. Fill in that offensive line. You get another first round pick, maybe a second or third for following up, and see where it goes from there. I'm not saying that it's not a crapshoot afterwards. Like, you can still get a quarterback later if you wanted to. But these two, like, it's pretty much right now, Cam Ward's number one. And there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is going number one. And that's what everybody's saying. After that, it's almost like 60-40 of the Browns taking a quarterback or they're not taking a quarterback. And it's weird. It's weird we're in that situation. It's almost like the Miles here, Bri. It feels like it. Like, do you take the best player there or do you go chasing for a quarterback and hope it pans out?
So we both agree trade down is probably the best option. The issue is it's not a great draft. There's no, I mean, unless the Raiders love Shador or the Saints love Shador and they really want to trade up and give you a king's ransom for it.
Giants, Jets.
Giants. Well, Giants would have to trade up one. So let's say hypothetically, because I think you're probably not getting a one unless you trade way down. I don't even know if you're guaranteed to get a two. Let's say the best you can do to trade down is a three. Would you do it for a three?
I would have to get a two because it's the number 2 overall pick, right? I mean, you would have to.
I agree. Right.
Draft order. Let's take wrong one. We're going deep in the draft order right now. So draft order, blah 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 blah. Round 1. All right. So
Giants.
After us. All right. So after us, you got the
Patriots,
Giants, Patriots,
Jaguars,
Raiders, Jets, Panthers, Saints. Let's see here. Niners, Cowboys, Dolphins, Colts, Falcons, Cardinals. Seattle just signed, Tampa Bay, Denver, Packers, Vikings, Texans, Rams, Baltimore, Lions, Commanders, Bills. Yeah, so like pretty much after, like maybe the Dolphins? You think the Dolphins would I know they got Tua, but Tua's got some injuries.
But they just paid Tua a ton of money. And I don't know if Sanders is an upgrade from Tua. I mean, you'd really have to hate Tua or, I mean, anticipate his career coming to an end soon for them to make a move like that. So you want to do it for a 3. So you're stuck at 2. What do you do at 2? These are the difficult questions.
I know.
That's why I was not on board with losing all the rest of our games this year because I knew this is not a great draft to have a top 2 pick. Obviously having 2 is better than having 5 or 6, but I was like, man, if we're going to have a top 2 pick, this is not the year for it.
Hear me out. So obviously the Jets are crazy, which we already know that. They just signed.
No, I'm not. So you're stuck at 2. You got to make the pick. You got to turn the card in. Who you drafting?
All right, we're going to do this next week. I got to think about this, Brian. No, I'm being serious because, I mean, honestly, if we were at 2, I would love to have Abdul Carter. I really would. I think he is, and I know he is not a 4-3 defensive end, and I get that. He'd be like a 3-4 outside linebacker like TJ Watt. I get that. But, you watch his game tape, Brian. When you see game tape and you see just the amount of impact that he has, and especially on certain games, like you can't deny that the kid's got elite talent. But it's a coin flip right now because the thing is we are desperate. And what if, and this is always the what if of Cleveland Browns, what if we take Abdul Carter and the Giants take Shedeur Sanders and he is a Hall of Famer? Right? This is what we deal with all the time. Hey, Big Ben. We passed on Big Ben. Guess what happened? That happened. We passed on Deshaun Watson at the time. Look what happened. Now, granted, we got him back, but Patrick Mahomes, everybody passed on Patrick Mahomes. Look what happened. Like, there's a hindsight to it. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But like you said, I don't want to do it out of desperation. If he is your guy, and like, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know how anybody could trust the Browns in making the correct choice at quarterback after what we've been through. I go back to what year was Baker drafted? 2018.
Yes.
You had the number 1 overall pick. You could have taken whoever you wanted. There were 2. So right now, currently, most hardcore NFL fans would tell you there's 4 elite quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And they're all, luckily for us, they're all in the AFC. Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. And 2 of them are in the AFC North. And 2 of them were in the 2018 draft. You have 5 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. 2 of them were elite. 2 of them are average, and 1 was a complete bust. And we had the number 1 pick, and we had to figure out which one of them is going to be elite. And we blew it. And, people love Baker, so that's why that's not really talked about as much, because people think, oh, Baker's almost as good as those guys. Baker's not a bad quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's average. He can be good. He can be bad. There were 2 elite quarterbacks in that draft. Yeah. And we missed on both of them. We had the pick of the litter. And so, I don't know how.
But also, hold on. Okay. At the time, now we're going to get in revisionist history. At the time, you had Dorsey making that pick with Hugh fucking Jackson as the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. Like, do you honestly think, and I know they're elite now, do you honestly think that if Josh Allen came in here with Hugh fucking Jackson, that he would still be the elite of the elite? Probably not, Bryce.
I do for Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson, I think you needed the right guys in place. I mean, Hugh Jackson was fired halfway through that year. So I'm not saying that, Hugh Jackson probably still would have been fired halfway through that year.
So was their offensive coordinator. So was like Brian, it was that's the thing. If you're going to draft number 1, that's why I get so upset by some of these people that say like number 1 picks or bust. Like, if Baker Mayfield was drafted, and it's normally you're going to a shitty team anyways, but let's just say Baker Mayfield was drafted number 1 to, dare I say, a good culture team, which, hey, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, good culture teams. Are they not?
They're never picking number 1.
But I know, but they're not. But if they do you think Baker would flourish in that because they have a good culture team?
Oh yeah, a lot of quarterbacks will. Look at Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. People, he wasn't even a first round pick. People thought, all the magic that Lincoln Riley has worked with these other quarterbacks, Baker and Kyler Murray, the top 2 picks in each of their drafts. But Jalen Hurts, he's just kind of, he's not like those guys. And so the Eagles took flyer on him in the second round, and they developed him, and they surrounded him with great talent. And that's what you need. If you're not going to have an elite quarterback, you need to have a very good quarterback who's a leader and who's going to play within a system. And that's what I think Jalen Hurts is. And if you look at Stefanski's track record in Minnesota, where he had success, he didn't have elite quarterbacks, but they had some good teams. Case Keenum got him to the playoffs a year or 2. Kirk Cousins got him to the playoffs a year or 2. These guys, I kind of see Shedeur Sanders in that kind of mold, to where, he can play within the Stefanski system, and he's not an elite talent, but he can be like a Brock Purdy. He can be maybe, all things going well, he could be like a Jalen Hurts, but he's never going to be elite. He's never going to put the team on his back to take you to a championship. So if that's the case, then you have to surround him with tremendous talent, and that's what the Eagles are. I mean, how many guys did they lose in free agency? And they're just going to reload. They're always making the right moves, it seems. So if we don't have an elite quarterback, then we need, like you said, like a game manager, and just surround him with great talent.
All right, we'll pick up this conversation again next week because it's going to be an ongoing conversation until the draft, Bri, because that's a great thing about this time of year, unless something magical happens that we need to figure out. Bri, you ready for some Fat Boy Tuesday?
Sure.
And now, it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
Welcome on into Fat Boy Tuesday. I know that we said something about diet fads last week, Brian. I do have a top 10 diet fad that we can go through real quick, but it was St. Patty's Day. What a wonderful time on Monday here in Cleveland. Corned beef was flying out of every orifice in Cleveland. My God, Slimans, people were lined up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It is just, hey, it's crazy here in Cleveland. I did hear that Cleveland is one of the top 10 places to go for St. Patty's Day. A lot of people have voted on that. So, but Brian, St. Patty's Day, I do have to ask you, out of all the holidays, okay, we got, now listen, we got St. Patty's Day, we got Cinco de Mayo, we got Memorial Day, we got 4th of July, we got Labor Day, we got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, throw in Halloween there too with the candy. Which holiday has the best food?
For me, it's Thanksgiving. Not really close. I feel like I get a good variety, and I mean, when you have a big family like I do, and my wife has a big family, you're just eating for 4 days straight. So that one's hard to top.
I was going to say, I love Thanksgiving. Don't get me wrong. But I kind of veer towards either Memorial Day or 4th of July. Because the sun's
now that you bring it up,
barbecue.
4th of July. Yeah.
You got hot dogs. You got
dogs and burgers.
You can't go wrong with
That's
that,
where
right?
I live.
All right. Now,
That's true. I was thinking of quantity over quality. Yeah. Burgers and dogs, it's hard to beat that.
Okay. Top fad diets. And I have, nope. There it is. All right. So we're doing the top fads. Diet fads, Bri. And first on the list is the Atkins diet. Now, you know all about the Atkins diet.
Refresh my memory. I've heard of it.
It's low carb, high protein. So you're trying to keep your carbs under a certain amount, but, it's pretty much just low carb. So you're cutting out the breads, you're cutting out the starches, you're cutting out all that stuff. Bri, do you think
is that different from the keto diet?
They're kind of similar. The keto diet is different though because it's a high fat, low carb. So and plus there's certain things that you can't eat, and they're not. Keto is not huge on like fruits and vegetables. Sort of.
Sure.
But,
there's a lot of carbs. There's a lot of carbs in fruits.
By the way, keto is number 3, so there's 2 of them right there. But can you do a no carb, high protein diet?
A no carb diet? No, I couldn't. Low carb diet? I could probably last a little bit.
Okay. All right. Now here's the next one. This is a fun one for me. The zone diet, Bri. The zone diet is eating 40% carbohydrates, 30% protein, and 30% fat. Do you think you could do that? But there's certain foods that are off limits, like bananas, raisins, potatoes, and corn.
Okay. If I had an app to help me out, that sounds like a lot of math. So I don't feel like I would be too into all of it. But if there was an app that could kind of simplify it for me, sure, I'd try it.
Okay, we're passing up keto. We're going to, Bri, dare I say, the grapefruit diet. Have you ever heard of the grapefruit diet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's also kind of like the cabbage soup diet or bone broth or something like this. What you're trying to do is replace one meal with a grapefruit instead of a meal. So with that in mind, you're trying to lower your calorie intake. Do you think that you could substitute one meal with a grapefruit?
Oh, yeah. There's days, a lot of times on the weekends, I only have 2 meals. So, yeah, skipping a meal wouldn't be that big of a deal. Is there a reason it's a grapefruit?
Well, it could be cabbage soup. It could be bone broth. It could be the reason why, because a lot of people did it with grapefruit, because grapefruit is supposed to be less sugar, but it's supposed to kind of boost your metabolism. So it's kind of like one of those. Right. All right. Next up, paleo diet. All right. Paleo diet. People who follow the paleo diet consume half their calories from lean animal foods as eggs, fruit, non-starch veggies, unsaturated fats, some alcohol, and water. Do you think you could do that?
It would depend on what your definition of some alcohol is.
Well, not for us alcohol. Let's
Three,
just put that
less than 3 beers a day? Yeah, I could probably do that. Less than 3 beers a week? I don't know.
All right. So, oh my God. Here we go. Here's another one. Special K diet. All right. Now, this one cracks me up because you know what Special K is.
No. Well, the cereal?
Yes, the cereal. So,
okay.
It's eating Special K for breakfast and lunch and then eating a regular dinner.
Definitely. I love cereal.
But it's Special K.
Absolutely.
You can't add anything to it. Okay.
That's fine. Not even fruit.
That's just cornflakes, brother.
Oh, they're better than cornflakes. Special K is.
No, it does not. No fruit.
No fruit. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Be starving.
Oh, here we go. And then we'll do the last one right here because this is where everybody will shut off the show. Bri, the Master Cleanse. It is a liquid-only diet. You could drink a concoction of water, lemon juice, maple syrup, and cayenne pepper for 10 days.
I fasted for 4 days one time, but I did like I made like smoothies and stuff like that with fruit and drank V8 and stuff for nutrients and stuff. No, I couldn't do that. All just what do you say? Cayenne pepper, lemon, and water for 10 days? No, forget about it.
Concoction of water, lemon juice, maple syrup. Maple syrup's right up your alley.
Yeah, but I can't. That's the only thing I get for 10 days. Heck no. That sounds absurd.
By the way, Beyonce did it, and she lost 20 pounds.
Oh, gosh. I heard Kevin James say on, I think it was maybe the Joe Rogan podcast, he went 40 days with just drinking water and adding like salt to it for electrolytes or something. 40 days. I don't know how much, he was in that one movie called Here Comes the Boom or something, where he's like a cage fighter. So he had to cut weight for that. So yeah, he said he went 40 days without food. Like, it's absurd. I would think mentally you would just go crazy.
Okay, Brian, be honest, what's the longest you think you could go without food?
Well, like I said, I went 4 days, but I had like V8 and, Gatorades and stuff like that. So if you're counting that stuff, like just water and...
No, because that's kind of liquid and nutrients in the body. I mean, like actual substance, like protein, everything else. Like V8's it's juice. Like I'm talking like actual food, like eating food.
I'm still confused. So what am I allowed to have?
You can drink.
Am I allowed to
anything you
have
want.
V8?
You're allowed to have V8. You're allowed to drink whatever you want. Okay, but
Okay.
food substance, but actually
Can't
eating
eat.
food.
Can't chew any
Can't
food.
chew food.
I could blend up like I do berries and spinach and stuff like that daily. I can still do that.
Yes, but you cannot eat.
Can't eat it. I mean, it would depend on what my motivation is. Am I getting $1,000 for every day I do it? And then I could probably go, a week or so. I would think.
6 months.
But am I just doing it to, prove to my friends how long I could do it? Then yeah, I'm probably not going to last a day.
Yeah, I don't know.
What about you,
Brian? If I've done so God, back in the day, like if I was still in like high school days, like
you're 40-some years old.
44 years old. I know. So I've done a week cleanse before, Brian. So I've done a whole week.
Recently?
It was not fun. It was not fun at all. Like I got.
That doesn't sound fun at all. Yeah.
I got like Betty White syndrome at about day 5, and I wanted to kill people. Like I honestly.
Now, did you just do this for fun, or was this doctor ordered?
It was, part of it was doctor ordered because it was to check something, medically. She only wanted
for a week. They tell you're not allowed to eat for a week.
Hold on. She only wanted a handful of days. I went a week just to see what it would be like because I know a lot of people do this like 7-day cleanse where they just drink water and kind of clean out their entire system and then they can kind of get back in. And I thought, hey, if they could do it, I could try it. It was not fun, Bri. It was not fun. It was miserable. It got to the point, Bri, and like our tastes are kind of like, eh. Like I could taste like the minerals in the water and everything else. I was like, I don't like this. This is not good. I needed food. I need to feed the baby. Right. Not good. Damon's here tonight. Thank you, Damon, from the Dude Network. What's going on, D? All right, Brian, let's get into our top three. Let's close out our show, and then we'll do our trivia, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Brian. After the core 4, who are the most important 3 after them for the Cavs?
You want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
I'll go first. First off, number 3 for me, Max Strus. I'm going to put him number 3 because I like his hustle, Bri. He is not going to light up. Every now and then he'll hit about 3 or 4 threes, and everybody gets all pumped and all that stuff. But I think for what he does for this team with the hustle plays and everything else, I'm going to put him at my number 3. All right. Number 2, Bri, Ty Jerome. I'm putting Ty Jerome at number 2. Give Darius Garland and also Donovan Mitchell a little time off, a little change of pace. He is a great drive to the basket, but he can also throw up the 3 too. Kind of that nice little third guard that you need to kind of give everybody else a break on the bench. And Brian, my number 1, and it's been proven so far, bud, this trade has worked out fantastically, and he has fit in better than I thought he would have. DeAndre Hunter, Brian, he's got to be the next one right behind him. Now, I know they've been doing a lot of Strus in the starting lineup and him kind of coming off the bench a little bit. But Bri, for the playoffs, you're going to need DeAndre Hunter, and it's kind of been proven so far with a couple of the games that he's played so far. I can't. Kobe Altman pulling this off. Like, you and I talked about it, like, oh, they need a nice big wing and a guy that could shoot and everything else. And we never thought it would happen. And then magically it happened, Brian. He has been like, he fits in like just perfect with this team. And I'm loving every minute of it. What about your top three?
Similar. My number 3 guy, I had Dean Wade, and just because
Forgot about Dean.
After Allen and Mobley, you don't really have any size or guys that Tristan Thompson, but he's old. He'll give you a couple minutes if you need a banger down low, but you need somebody who can substitute for those guys if they get in foul trouble. So he's my number 3. Number 2, I'm with you, Ty Jerome. He's really the 4th at this point. He's the 4th scoring option on our team after Garland, Mitchell, and Mobley. So he can fill it up and he can really provide you a huge spark off the bench. And then I'm with you, number 1, DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, I think maybe even more than his offense, his defense is going to be so huge, specifically in the Boston series, because we have nobody who can really match up with Brown and with for sure Tatum. Maybe Ty Jerome can pester Brown a little bit, but Tatum is a different beast. I don't know if he's 6'8" or 6'9", and other than Hunter, we have nobody. Dean Wade can, but he's just not athletic enough to stay with him. So
we got the rookie Jalen. Was it Jalen Thompson?
What the heck? No, it's not Thompson. I forget what the heck his name is, but he's a rookie. If in a pinch, if you had to throw him in there, you could, but I don't think you really be counting on him. Tyson, yep, Jalen Tyson. So yeah, DeAndre Hunter is, he was exactly what I've been asking for, and a lot of Cavs fans have been asking for years now. It's what this team has been missing, because we strictly had small guards and big guys that play in the post, and there was no in between. And DeAndre Hunter gives you a little bit of an in between. And going back to Ty Jerome, and this is going to be a conversation months down the road, but I'm just putting it into your head now. Like, I think Ty Jerome makes Darius Garland expendable. I think he, if he's going to demand a lot of money in free agency, you're not going to be able to keep him. And I feel more comfortable with a 6'5" guard alongside Donovan Mitchell than I do a 6-foot guard. And I think Garland is a better player right now, but think about where we were at this time last year. We were talking about what the heck can we get for Darius Garland? I don't know if we can get anybody for him. And now 1 year later, he might be more of a hot commodity. So you want to sell when he's high. Now, obviously, the playoffs are going to happen, and if we go on to win a championship, you're not going to want to touch this team at all. But I think if we fall short and if we lose to Boston, I think that's going to be a conversation that we have to have.
It's definitely a down the road conversation. I don't want to jinx this stuff right now, Brian.
Oh yeah, no, right, yeah. I'm just bringing it up. I'm just putting a little bug in your ear. But I'm still all in for this year. And like I said, if they win a championship, this will be the dumbest take I have had in the last 6 months.
But hey, we come up with dumb takes every day, Brian. Let's just be honest. All right, Brian. So it is trivia time, which is brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. If you can, please adopt. But if you cannot, please go volunteer, donate, whatever you can. I believe June 8th is going to be their 5K. So please go sign up for that. Go to Facebook or X or Twitter, whatever the hell you want to do it. Instagram. It is at City Dogs at CLE. And go sign up for that. Brian, we've had 2 15 games or more streaks for the Cleveland Cavs this year. Bri, what is the longest losing streak they have had?
Take me back to the dark days. I believe it was after LeBron left the first time, and maybe is it an NBA record? Do you know?
I don't know. It's a franchise record. I don't know.
It might be an NBA record.
It might be.
Is it 26?
It is 26 games.
Unbelievable.
2010, 2011.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And didn't we get Kyrie Irving with that horrible season?
I think that might have been with Kyrie Irving on the team.
Oh, that was his first year?
Maybe. Like who was that guy? Deion Waiters. Don't quote me on that, but that might have been it. Or maybe that was the year that led us to the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, it might have. All right, Brian, we're here at the end of our show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please go click that like and subscribe and follow. The audio will be out tonight, and we will have clips throughout the week. Thank you so much for watching. Brian, God bless them.
Yep. God bless you. God bless America.
We want to thank our troops and first responders for everything you guys do. And we are definitely uncorked, unloaded. We're out. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.